to another episode of Songs Nobody Asked Me For. My name's Nigel. I am the singer and songwriter of the Plymouth UK-based indie funk band The Curve. And I don't do this very often, but at the beginning I'm going to say, look, please like, subscribe. I should do that stuff. Any of these successful podcasts I watch, they always say that at the beginning, don't they? And I sometimes say it at the end. I should say it at the beginning, shouldn't I? Please follow my podcast. Please press the like button below. It really makes a huge difference to the podcast and to me, you know. And if you have any comments or feedback or suggestions, that'd be fantastic too. Where do we find ourselves? We find ourselves in the last week of May here, and it's really hot. This is that little, I don't know whether it's a mini heat wave or whether this is going to be like this for the next 3 months. Who knows in this country these days? But certainly you may or may not remember, this is the second bank holiday that's just happened. I think it was the 23rd. I think today is the 24th. And it's super hot. I mean, I think it's predicted to be 27 outside, but yesterday in the afternoon was 32 on our little barometer thing we have. And yeah, it's supposed to be warmer today, so blimey, it's going to be hot. But I thought I would pop in and do one of these, and I wanted to talk a little bit about festivals, and maybe in particular I wanted to talk about the Freedom Festival in Plymouth, and just big it up a little bit, really. And I want to do that just because there's something very open and possibly even old world about it. I think at a time when I think my sense of festivals is they're more and more corporate. They're more and more tied up by agencies and promoters, and you know, as I've talked on here about my frustrations at trying to get to play at festivals and how they just feel sewn up really, and it's hard to do. And we have two. We're playing at a festival in Julo, I think it's called, in July. Looking forward to that. But we managed to get what was actually the last slot available at Freedom Festival, and Freedom Festival happens every year. I think it said it was its 29th year this year, which is amazing. 29 years, and it's in a little park in Plymouth called Freedom Fields, and so that's hence the Freedom Festival, Freedom Community Festival. If you Facebook it, just go and like them on Facebook. I think they have this sort of Freedom Community Festival is also, you can find it on Instagram. But certainly there's a Facebook page. Just go and like it. It'll make a big difference to them. It's a small festival. It's got bigger and bigger. And I'm going to show you some of that in a while. But it's not huge. And they have a main stage and a sort of more of an acoustic stage. And they do a very good job of sound. The sound we played to yesterday was amazing. We played there yesterday. And as I said, we had the last slot, which what that meant was you got the first slot. You know, so we were the first main band on of the day. I guess we went on at 12 o'clock. So there was an acoustic artist who I'm going to name and mention because I'm trying to get her on the podcast. And if she comes across this, hopefully by now I will have pinned her down to do it. Young woman called Bess Howard Baker. And I've known her for a long time. I've been pursuing her for the podcast for a little while. She was the first acoustic act on, and that was on at 11:30 till 12, and then we had 12 to 12:45, and they do that nice little dance between the two stages so that you're not competing with each other. Bess, I've known for a very long time. I know her dad really well, and Bess, I want to do a podcast with her about busking because she's a person that I know has been a prolific busker, and yeah, I'd like to know a bit about that experience, and hopefully I will soon. You know, by the time this is out, I may have one of those in the can. It was good to see her. When I was able to see her and say hi, and I've been trying to get hold of her on by message, but you know, it's kind of nice to see her, and so I'm hopeful. So there were two stages, and as I say, they do that sort of back to front, and the place was full of, you know, lots of stalls, food places, bars, you know, sort of things that you would expect. But it's just a little community. It's free. It's always been free, and there's lots of stuff for kids. You know, big bouncy castle areas and all that sort of stuff. And I love the fact that it's free, and I love the fact that they're still booking on local musicians and local bands, and they're open to original music. Had a couple of people old favourites of mine from the podcast. Cat Rose was playing same slot as us on the Saturday. Didn't get a chance to see her, unfortunately, because I couldn't get in on the Saturday. But Rob Seaforth was also playing, so that's great. You know, there's a couple of people that were from the podcast. I like to sort of big them up. And Rob was comparing for the day when we played yesterday, and that was really nice to be introduced by Rob. Really enjoyed that, and to see him around, that was fantastic. It's kind of got bigger over the years. As I say, it's still very small. The park's only the size of the park. It's not a massive park. But I have a little bit of footage of us playing there the last time we played there. And I don't know when it was, but certainly it's got to be at least 5 years ago, I think, because we were a three-piece then. I think it was not long before Brad joined us on guitar. But yeah, so it's a little clip of me and Graham and John. And if you're listening to it, you'll hear us playing. If you're watching it, there's this lovely bit. I haven't found a bit of video yet, but it's a bit I'm going to find. And I remember that there was some really drunk, sort of middle-aged guy with a bit of a beer belly and a pint of beer comes rocking along into the middle of the stage, of the floor in front of us, staggering around to dance, and then staggers off again. It's very funny. But I'll show you that now. So there we were then. And then I think what I need to do is then sort of show you a little bit of us today or yesterday. And this is a clip of us playing yesterday. And it's just so nice for me to, we really had something as a three-piece. We had a lot of connection and energy, but seeing us as a five-piece, I really, the sound was great. And I hope that comes across in the video, but I'm going to play you a little bit of us playing there now. Wow, that's two examples of times when we were doing that, and at different times, a bit of time scale between the two things, and yeah, really enjoyed it. I'm also going to show you another video now, because I'm going to show you a video. I did a little walk round at the beginning to give you an idea of it. I don't know whether you can see towards the end that you see a little bit of Plymouth. I saw that's the lovely thing about Plymouth. You can see the Jenny Cliff Hills, and then you can see the sea and the sun shining. It's beautiful. But I've done it. I've done my own trick of doing it in portrait, so it's going to look really tiny. But I'm going to show you around the festival now as well. So I suppose I want to put commentary on this. If I'm putting in the podcast, this is Freedom Festival, and it's just opening up. It's early in the morning. There's the stage. I'll go in there in a minute, have a look, and here's yesterday's run of people here. Quite pleased because you've got sort of Cat Rose band there. Just big up to Cat, who we obviously had on the podcast before. We've got second stage is kind of over there. Lots of nice, much bigger than it used to be, this festival. I haven't been here for a couple of years. And the sun is shining, and it is lovely.
Okay.
So let's have a little look in here.
To a point where they're not feeding back. Okay.
They are.
Right,
it's not always.
And here's me, and clearly they're falling out over their gain, but they'll work it out. And we're on in about, I think we're on about an hour and a half, really. So I'm hoping, it's lovely here this morning. And not many people here, but there will be. I'm just hoping they chug along by the time that we're playing. You never can tell. Yeah. And here we are again, and I'm just chugging around the place, really. So we've got all that bouncy castle stuff over there, ice cream van, Plymouth. Look at that. That's Mount. Is it Mount? No, it's not Mount Edgecombe. What is that place called now? I cannot think what that's called. But it's a lovely piece of coast that goes round to Jenny Cliff. That's where it goes. And the sea is there. And whether you can see that or not if you're watching this, I don't know, because I'm doing this as I tell everybody off for doing in portrait. But this is the second stage, and we have Bess Howard Baker playing, and I'm trying to get hold of Bess to try and get her to be on on with us on the podcast. I love it. It's been run by a little committee for years, and I want to big up to Jo, who I've never met. Well, I might have met, but I don't know her. But she's the one that books all the bands, and a guy I've known for years called Jonathan. And Jonathan, I did a podcast quite a while ago about working in mental health and the mental health band that I used to have. And Jonathan was the music volunteer that used to come and help me run that. And he's been in the music scene for donkey's years and worked for Mind for a really long time. Does lots of community work, and he is on the committee of the Freedom Festival, and has been for a really long time, really. And yeah, really nice to see him again, like me. He's getting on a bit these days, but it was really lovely to see him. And saw a couple of people around that I knew. Yeah, it was great. And first band on wasn't packed, but we had about 35 people there, which was nice. Would have liked more, but I think we were late applying. I think that's my memory of it, and so we really, as I say, got the last slot. Really, I need to be on top of it because it is one festival that celebrates Plymouth and celebrates the local area, and really does something for the community, and it's nice to be playing in Plymouth. We oddly have the next three gigs we have are all in Tavistock. I love Tavistock, but we're playing at the Tavistock Acoustic, so we now need to redo the whole set to play acoustically, and Tim won't play with us. And then we've got a full set. We're doing a charity gig for, now I can't remember what the Print Works it's called, which does a lot of community work in Tavistock. Then we're going to be doing a charity gig for them. And then we're playing at... I always call it Tavy Fest, and I never remember it's Tavy Fest. They have two things happen there, or Tavy Fringe. What is either Tavy Fringe or Tavy Fest? We've played it for the last 3 years. I've shown you some really strange video on this of how we're there, and then you've got this massive gap before where everybody's sitting. But we asked whether we could move this year, and we're going to be on a stage that's where the bar is, right next to the river in Tamar and then Tavistock. I think it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. You can't beat playing outside. And one of the things is, if it's hot and it's warm and there's lots of people there, you just captive audience at some level. But PA systems were really, as I say, the sound was really good yesterday, on stage and off stage. So we had a great time. And, you get that at the festivals you play at, because of course that's the other thing, is that there's somebody there to do all the sound. And so, you have that support as well. But yeah, Freedom Festival, I'd really suggest you check it out. Freedom Community Festival. And I'm really impressed with them, and I wonder whether they're going to do something different for their 30th year, or they're just going to make a bit more of a thing of it. But that is pretty impressive. I didn't realise that's how long they've been playing. I've played it a couple of times before when I was kind of in my singer-songwriter phase, and I would have played on the other stage. The area to play in was bigger as well. I mean, it moves along, and that's always good, And just lovely to play on a sunny day as well. So I've got to rejig myself now. I've got a couple of weeks before we play Tavistock Acoustic. I showed you my new Yamaha plug-in electric acoustic the other day, which has an acoustic pickup and an electric pickup, which is really impressive. So I'm going to be working that out. I put some really light strings on it because it's a really light guitar. It's kind of like a jazz guitar, but I'm upping them a bit. I'm putting 10s on. I had 9s on, got 11s on my other electric acoustic, and I'm going to change them both for 10s and see how I get on with it, really. So that's what I'm going to do in a minute. I'm going to open my back door to my music room here, which I can only open in the summer because it swells and then I can't open it. It's an old room, this. Well, the room isn't old. I did this myself, but the window and the back door are. So the actual building on the side of the house here is quite old. It was a big, long room initially when we moved here. I think the guy here before me was into model railways and had a big model railway set here. So lots of worktops all along the side. Took it all out, split it in half. We've got half over this side, which is a kind of storeroom for us. And this half is my music room. Soundproofed it a bit. But it's great. It's right on the outside. It's onto the garage. So I can make a lot of noise in here and nobody seems to hear. So that's really nice. But I'm going to be working on that sound. We're going to do an acoustic set. Brad has to break out his acoustic guitar, and we're going to be playing with Gray and John, and we're really looking forward to, you know. So I think that's all I've got to say, because actually what I really want to do is I want to get out into the sunshine now, and I'm going to open that door and feel the heat hit me, because it's nice and cool in here. But yeah, I want to try and get my door open. It's that time of year. The time of year when I'm growing tomatoes and all these very rock and roll things I love to do. But yeah, it's good. It's a nice time to be living in Cornwall as well, I would say, and working in Plymouth, and it's such a great place to be, you know. Oh, the other thing I should have said was that the you can hear us there if you really want to. Ferndale Community Radio was there. I did an interview with them again when we were a three-piece, first time I ever went on the radio. And I met this guy called Steve on his breakfast show and played a couple of our tracks, and we chatted, and yeah, I enjoyed it. But he didn't remember that. It was Steve who interviewed me. So I was interviewed. They came to see us before the set. They gave me a flyer and said, wonder if one of you could come and meet us for an interview afterwards, because we're going to be streaming your performance live. So that's great. So you can find it, I guess, if you're really curious, you can go to Sunday's Listen Again page on the Ferndale Radio, and I'm presuming they're going to have that available. And they said that they're going to be uploading it to, I can't remember whether it's Bandcamp or SoundCloud. Once it's up, I'm going to be making a big thing of it. Well, if it sounds any good. But that's nice, you know, and they're very complimentary. And I sat with him and chatted for 10 minutes or so and did a sort of video interview. I haven't a clue where it is. I've been hunting around for both listening to the audio and the little videos, but I can't find anywhere. So I will have to message them and ask. But yeah, that was good too. That's a thing that I didn't know. Maybe they've done it the last couple of years. It's lovely, really. It was like having a little Glastonbury and then having, you know, Radio 2 being there. You know, it was like that sort of thing, and it's great, because I think it's good to just promote it around. You know, it's a online radio. They say they listen to around the world, so you know, it's kind of nice. You know, probably listened to in Plymouth as well, I presume. So look, thank you for listening. Always a pleasure. I got 2 interviews coming up over the next couple of weeks, which I'm looking forward to. But I will share that with you once I've done them, because you never know with these things. Yeah, follow the band. Hashtag Music the Curve, you know by now, if you're a regular listener. And yeah, thank you for listening, and I will see you next week. I feel hot. I was born